Good day, everybody. Howdy do? Here I am walking on the forest, just trying to enjoy life, just trying to enjoy nature. But at the same time, guys, I want to share something with you. Something that I learned in my life, and I never would have imagined that I will be able to learn this. And maybe what I've learned in life is probably something that you've also learned in your life too. So let us see if this is something that will resonate with you. So, part of the things that I've learned in life is really, there's a lot. But number one thing that made me the person I am right now is basically the word freedom. The feeling of free, the feeling of being able to do whatever you want as long as you're not hurting yourself, and at the same time you're not hurting your or anybody. And for me, I've learned so much that I feel like, wow, I don't want to stop learning, because when you learn something, it's just very, very addicting, especially when you're able to get the answer. So, have you ever seen that movie, The Braveheart, by Mel Gibson? I've probably seen that movie at least 4 to 5 times, because for some reason, when I saw that movie, especially when in the end, when Mel Gibson was given a choice between what, like, he has something to do or other thing, he chose freedom, and that's how he was able to got killed. He would rather choose freedom than being a slave. So when I saw that one, for some reason, something hit in my heart. It almost feel like there's this feeling of an explosion. It's like, in a way, it's like an explosion of information. It's some sort of like electricity that somehow wakes you up. And you're like, what? Freedom? That's amazing. So the kind of freedom that I've learned in my life is, of course, I have been always so curious growing up as a child. And I really thought I was a different person, or I was a different kid. And I always felt like I've never belonged in my neighborhood, or in whenever I go to the classroom. I just always feel so different. And I always wish that I could be like them, but I feel like it's not who I am. So what I've learned in life is, for example, number one is school system. I realized that when going to school, you feel like you're not free. This is what I felt, okay? I don't know about you. I don't know if you've ever questioned this at all. But when I go to school, I don't feel free at all. I feel like they teach us things that you're not even interested. Or you think that, why do I need to learn this when I'm not interested to learn about this? When I want to grow up, I want to become like this, but why do I have to learn this? And at the same time, they give you a lot of things to do, and if you make a mistake, that's how they define you. So I was always been so curious or confused about the school, because I feel like they are teaching us to become the person we're not. It's like it's not teaching us, it's like they are forcing us to be someone we're not. And I always feel like going to school is like, it's like going for a training to become a slave to the society. But at the same time, you're paying yourself to go to school just to become a slave to the society. And then later on in life, I realized, why should I go to school for? I would rather just learn the things that I am actually interested, rather than the things that they're interested of implementing it into my life. Do you know what I mean? So that's that. And then I can talk more and more, but let's move on to religion. Again, religion, it's like going to school. In school, they teach you how to like be scared, and they pressure you so that you have a lot of anxiety. But in terms of church, when you go there, they teach you about fear. You have to be fearful. And they teach you that when you're that God is in the Bible, that God is in the church, And if you don't go to the church, you're somehow possessed by the devil, you're somehow possessed by the demon, and you are going to hell. And if you don't give money, you're going to hell. So that really kind of like raised a lot of red flag in my head, because like, how could God would ask for money and put you to hell if you don't give him money, if he's the one that creates the world? And if he is so powerful, why is he asking us money? Shouldn't we use the money to help other people rather than giving it to God? And it has to be in the church. So that I stopped giving money to the church. And that was also the time that I started my project, which back in the day I used to call that Project 101, but now it's Project Helga, because I would rather use that money towards the children, towards helping the people who actually need it, rather than the people who's collecting it and put it in their pockets. So yes, that's my take on that. And that makes me feel like, yay, I'm free. I don't have to go to the church. I don't have to go to school. I'm just super free. I'm so happy. And I'm not hurting anybody. And most of all, I'm not hurting myself. And the other thing is food. In advertising, they tell you like, when you buy this, it's good for you, it's healthy for you, even though they're advertising the worst food ever you could imagine. And then you realize that, my God, the food that I'm eating is actually not healthy, and it's keeping me giving me anxiety. It's making me depressed, because the food that I'm consuming is actually not a good food. It's man-made food to make us the person we're not supposed to be. It's like they're trying to turn us into robots. And that's why for me, I had to change my entire diet, because I realized that when you're eating the food that was created by nature, we're talking about organic fruits and vegetables, you realize that that's the kind of food that God wants you to eat. If you want to be connected with God, you must eat the food that he created, not the food that the man created. So I still make mistakes, because obviously I'm human, being here on earth, and I long for some sort of things too that it's not good for me, but I'm aware that they're not good for me, so I'm just being mindful. And so yeah, I realized that also at the same time working out for the sake of, well, before I used to work out a lot, right? Because I tried to make my booty plump to somehow attract the wrong man in my life. And I feel like, you know what, if I just work so hard, the man will attract me because of my booty, and it's so big. And I even thought of like making my boobs big so that people will like me. And like, what for? Why am I choosing to imprison myself for the sake of getting validation from other people? Why can't I just be who I am and be free of who I am and who is inside me, rather than the definition of outside me? So I was like, fuck that. I would rather just work out for the sake of my health, not necessarily for the sake of plum my bum. So I stopped doing that, right? And then other thing too is friends. I had to be someone I'm not, just to gain a lot of friends, but really I was hanging out with the wrong friend, and I was not free at all. I feel like I was in jail. But the moment that I realized most of the people or your friends are fake, you just realize, you know what, I don't want to be like fake like them. I want to be free. I would rather not have friends than be fake along with them. I would rather be real. I would rather be free. I don't care about having friends, because I realize by not having friends, I am actually way more free. I have a lot of freedom. I can be who I am. I don't have to get validation. I don't need validation from my friends. I can validate myself.